have lots of conversations about this topic. One objection which I've heard again, and recently, somebody said, if Prop 8 doesn't pass, churches will be shut down because they'll be unable to talk about the subject without running afoul of laws. Is there any merit to that statement? I mean, what do you say to somebody who says that statement?
The answer is that no. There's absolutely no merit to that statement. I mean, one example might be California has long had on the books a non-discrimination law prohibiting discrimination on the basis of race and religion and sex and sexual orientation and other important classifications. And that has not stopped the anti-gay forces from mounting yet another multi-million-dollar attack on gay people, and no one has gone into court to say they can't do it, or that they need to be arrested or shut down, or the church is this or the church is that. I mean, these are just scare tactics. That doesn't happen. It's not the law. In the United States, rightly so, we respect freedom of religion and freedom of speech. We should also respect the freedom to marry. It would be wrong to take away anyone's fundamental freedom of speech. It would be wrong to take away anyone's fundamental freedom of religion. And it is wrong, as Prop 8 would do, to eliminate the fundamental freedom to marry. There's simply no merit to that claim whatsoever.
I mean, yeah, I think that's right, and it's great. I mean, I think the people who are having these conversations with coworkers or friends or fellow are really, they're doing some of the real groundwork that many of us don't encounter that many people who are necessarily, on the fence or leaning against it. And I'd say to my colleague, to Kaimi, one could cite, like there's the same California Supreme Court that ruled in favor of same-sex marriage ruled unanimously some years ago that the Boy Scouts, under California law, are perfectly within their rights to totally exclude gay people completely from the Boy Scouts. That was before the Supreme Court decision. Even though California, like you said, has very strong gay rights laws, no discrimination, employment discrimination, the California Supreme Court unanimously, a much more liberal court than the current court, actually said that nevertheless there's a huge exemption, not just for a church, but even for an organization with a somewhat limited religious character, like the Boy Scouts, to totally ban gay people. So the idea that a church that doesn't want to kind of extend the extra level of recognition on marriage is going to suffer for that, it's just crazy. I mean, the churches have a very strong First Amendment right. And another response is that it's not the California Supreme Court that is going to make those decisions about religious tax exemptions, religious rights, and all that. It is the U.S. Supreme Court enforcing the federal First Amendment that will make the final call. I don't think anyone that I've heard of has suggested that the current U.S. Supreme Court is somehow a wacky pro-gay rights court that is going to ride roughshod over First Amendment rights. So you can trust, I think, that Chief Justice Roberts and his court will protect religion from any possible corollary impacts.
Well, and let me just add to that. I think it's very important that people understand that a lot of these claims are false. I mean, they're actually, some of them are ridiculous. But if people don't hear the other side, if people don't actually take a deep breath and think it through, they can place their discomfort and their just uncertainty, go with that because it's easy to do that. In other words, it's very important that we have these conversations with people, both personally and through the airwaves and the campaign. Because we don't want them to hear one thing, have it lodge in their head, have nothing to give them the other side, nothing to encourage them to wait, think it through. How could that be true? And help them get back to being fair. That's our job. Our job is to get people to take that breath and think it through. Because when they do, they will vote no. But if nobody engages them, if we let them go to the polls without having that conversation with them personally and through the air, through the TV, then they don't necessarily know. They haven't had the chance, and they're scared, and they're not sure. And they might vote wrong. And because this is going to be tight, we need those votes.
Do you have one last question, or should I wrap it up?
Just a quickie. What do you see, Connecticut? You maybe thought Iowa. What other states do you see on the near future maybe changing their viewpoints on marriage?
Yes, I think there are several there are several states that shimmer within reach, not really to change their viewpoint on marriage, to fulfill their viewpoint on marriage. Because of marriage is what I said earlier. It's an important relationship of commitment and love and legal respect and legal acknowledgement and legal responsibility to stop excluding people from it, to treat people equally. But I think that we will see by this time next year, several states move toward ending and indeed end exclusion from marriage. States like New York, New Jersey, Vermont, Iowa, and hopefully others. And again, that's why it's so important that Californians understand that what California has done is not something surprising or odd or out of step. It's very much part of where the country and the world and people who have a vision of equality and respect are going. Are there people here from the campaign?
Yeah, I would.
Okay, so I hope that people, anyone else? Can you raise your hand again? Great, thank you. I really hope that you all will see this not as just a chat about the law or an abstract discussion, but truly as a moment in history where you can look back and say, I made a difference. And you have how many days to make that difference? 21 days, and counting. And seriously, people sometimes think, well, if I send an email, or if I make a phone call, or if I spend an hour on the phone bank, or if I make a contribution at the level I can make, it doesn't really make a difference. I can assure you it really does make a difference. That's how change happens in the United States. And I hope that Thomas Jefferson students and community, faculties, and all of us here today will be able to say, we did the right thing. We did not let this thing happen. We got people to vote no on Prop 8.